Let me go across to Lt Gen KJS Dhillon, who is the former co-commander of the 15 Corps, Srinagar-based 15 Corps. He's joining us on the broadcast. Lt Gen Dhillon, good evening and thank you very much for your time. You were the person in charge in Srinagar when Article 370 was abrogated. I remember back then, and you've said this in your book, you were warned, खून की नदियां बहेंगी. खून की नदियां तो नहीं बही, but 4 years later, when the Supreme Court validates that move and says it was constitutional, it was legal, what's your first reaction and sense?
Good evening, Shreya, and good evening to all your viewers. Yes, on 5th of August 2019, when Article 370 was abrogated, a lot of people in Kashmir, especially the people, the ecosystem which was benefiting from terrorism, they made such statements, खून की नदियां बह जाएंगी, तिरंगे को कंधा देने वाला कोई नहीं होगा. And they were proved wrong, not by the security forces or the administration of the government. They were proved wrong by the people of Kashmir. The people of Kashmir brought in the peace which is there. And today, when the same ecosystem had contested the abrogation of Article 370 in the Honorable Supreme Court, today Honorable Supreme Court has put a stamp on it that it is legally valid, it is constitutional, and it is as per the law of the land. So today the people of Kashmir in the last 4 years, they have seen the progress, they have seen the economic development, they have seen the education system working to the fullest, job creation happening, the new investments coming in. So this is the aspect which is now irreversible because the stakeholders, the Awam of Kashmir, have seen the dividends of peace. I always say economics will drive the peace in Kashmir. And today that economics, because of tourists coming, because of the shops remaining open, education system working fine, and overall, the economy of the state going up, people earning more than what they were earning 4 years ago.
Okay.
People are working later than what they were earning working 4 years earlier. So there is a system in place, there is a peace returning. So it is irreversible now. And I must thank the Honorable Supreme Court for having finally said that abrogation of Article 370 is legal and constitutional.
General Dhillon, then can I ask you, you're saying it is the people of Jammu and Kashmir who have seen the merits in peace, who have seen the merits of the abrogation of Article 370. Then can I ask you how you describe the reaction that is coming in from the political parties in Kashmir? Because the mood, the general mood as far as Kashmir parties are concerned, has been one of disappointment.
Ma'am, the same very political parties, the local political parties, have been telling the people of Kashmir that Article 370 is something which is, obnoxious, or which is abrogation is obnoxious. But they have not been able to tell the people of Kashmir ever since the abrogation of Article 370. Why is there more peace? Why are there no stone peltings? Why lesser number of terrorist acts? Why the more number of tourists coming? Why there is economic development happening? Why schools are open for 200 or 365 days when earlier they were closed for 280 days? Those things they are not able to tell because those are justifiable, verifiable facts. But because they were part of the ecosystem which was benefiting from the trouble in Kashmir, now उनको अपनी दुकान बंद होती दिखाई दे रही है. It is for that reason that people of Kashmir will not accept their point of view, will not accept their rhetoric, and they will keep saying the same thing again and again without logic, without any data. Today a normal Kashmiri is earning more. Today a normal Kashmiri student is getting educated better. Today a normal Kashmiri is getting better job opportunities. So that is.
Can I then ask you, there are people in Kashmir who will get up and say कि after the abrogation of Article 370, General Dhillon, there was a Naya Kashmir that was promised. But where is this Naya Kashmir? Is this Naya Kashmir जहाँ बिजली 10-10, 12, 15 घंटे नहीं आती? Is this the Naya Kashmir that the government had promised us? you had said terrorism will die a natural death once Article 370 is abrogated. Has that happened, General Dhillon? That hasn't happened either. So what has happened? I want to ask you, when people will turn around and ask you that question, someone like you that question, what is the answer you give them?
Ma'am, what has changed after 5th of August 2019 till today? Stone pelting has come down to 0. Hartals have come down to 0. The schools are opening 365 days in a year other than the normal routine holidays. The tourism which is coming into state is at all-time high. The shops are remaining open. The airlines which are operating at Srinagar airport, they're coming with 100% occupancy. All the hotels in Kashmir are fully occupied. All these are verifiable facts. The negative factors, the terrorist incidents are down, the number of terrorists are down, the terrorists killing civilians are down, security forces personnel getting killed in terrorist actions are down. The young youth of Kashmir which were joining terrorism, the numbers are down, which were ultimately getting killed. The innocent Kashmiri youth killed as terrorists is also down. All these are the dividends of peace which I am talking about. Now, coming to the aspects of administration, like bijli kitne ghante aati hai, kitne ghante nahi aati hai. Ma'am, Kashmir has been going through this terrorism for last 35 years. It has taken a toll on its administrative capability, it has taken toll on its infrastructure, and it has taken toll on overall the daily life of our Kashmiri. It will take time, still early days, but the consolidation we must do of whatever we have been able to achieve. जब peace आएगा तो खुशहाली भी आएगी. खुशहाली cannot precede the peace. So now we are on the path where peace is returning, where economic development is happening, where education is returning. So it's slow and steady, which will work. So the बिजली जो है कितने घंटे आ रही है कितने घंटे नहीं आ रही, administrative hassles हैं, they will also be overcome in a due course of time.
General Dhillon, always such a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much for joining us here on Mirror Now. Good to have you on the show. Thank you. Let me introduce my guest to you this evening. R.S. Pathania, spokesperson of the BJP. Swati Malik is spokesperson of the Congress Party. Ashwini Handa is spokesperson of the Valley-based DPAP. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. Swati, what is the Congress Party's stand as far as the Supreme Court verdict is concerned? The Supreme Court's very clear. What happened 4 years ago on the 5th of August was constitutionally valid. It was legal. You cannot question it anymore. Does the conversation end here? Maybe not in the Kashmir Valley. It won't end in the Kashmir Valley. But does it end at least here in Delhi?
Shtreya, now the judgment today, of course, it's a 478-page judgment. So it's going to take some time for a detailed read. But the stand of the Congress Party, as in the press conference also we had stated today, we've never objected to 370 being abrogated. It was the procedure, the way it happened, that we objected to. We were not the petitioners in this petition either. We were not one of the parties either. We didn't challenge. But because we are not against the idea of abrogating it, but the way it happened is what we were challenging. And the fact that even after August 2019, even when the Prime Minister, he said, in June 2021, there will be general elections, etc. But we are in 2023, December, and we've not seen the face of those general elections. So these are the things that we are opposing. It is not Article 370 being abrogated.
But the Supreme Court today has said the way it was done was fine as well. There was no illegality in that.
Well, Shreya, there are big contradictions in that. On the one hand, Supreme Court says that there is no illegality in it. But Article 3 of the Constitution of India says very clearly that you can make a UT out of a state, but you can't make two UTs. You get me? I mean, so there can be a UT out of a state, or you can, combine two states. You can bifurcate into two states, but there has to be a state. So on one hand, the Supreme Court says that, okay, Ladakh as a UT is fine, but what is Ladakh attached to? Where is the state that Ladakh is attached to? There is no, unless Kashmir is, unless the complete statehood of Kashmir is restored, that is when even Ladakh's UT will become valid even as per the Constitution. So the judgment itself, there are a few other contradictions.
But
and yes.
But that many people will say that is nitpicking. On the whole, this will be considered a big win for the BJP government because there were 23 petitioners who had gone to court. 16 days the court heard the matter and heard all parties, and it has said, look, what happened on 5th of August 4 years ago was absolutely legal. The process under which it happened was absolutely legal as well. Therefore, Ashwini Handa, why the long faces in the Kashmir Valley?
Shreya ji, I speak in Hindi, reply in English, right?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बोलिए.
Hello. Hello.
अश्विनी जी बोलिए, आवाज आ रही है? आप हिंदी में बोलिए अच्छे से.
देखिए जिस
long faces in the Kashmir Valley who are saying this is what has happened is illegal. What has happened is not justice, but the opposite of it. You have heard what Jammu and Kashmir's leaders have said, what Mehbooba Mufti has said, what Omar Abdullah has said. And they're saying the struggle will continue. The struggle is not ending.
Absolutely, Shreya. Jammu and Kashmir has suffered on account of flip-flops. I'll use the word hunting with hares, running with hares and hunting with hounds. The epithet, the phrase, the idiom belongs to Congress. It squarely fits how National Conference behaved and how value-based political parties behaved. You see how disastrous it was an idea. It was as good as creating an epicenter of a conflict. 370 was as good as planting an epicenter of a conflict, which could have its tremors across the country, pan-India, and even South Asia. Can there be a country within a country, state within a state? Can a state, a country afford to have two flags? Can a country afford to have two constitutions? But the misadventurism and the misreading of the situation. Bharatiya Janata Party was static. Maharaja Hari Singh was static. He warned against any special arrangements of Jammu and Kashmir. He was very clear and categorical, Maharaja Hari Singh. He said the same arrangement as applied to other 561 states, the same should apply to Jammu and Kashmir also. And Praja Parishad, which was leading the agitation, Ek Vidhan, Ek Pran, Ek Nishan, and then ultimately Bharatiya Janata Party, we were very clear and categorical. But this is the Congress which was a confused lot. Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, with all due respect to, I have great respect for him, for his contribution to the Indian polity, Indian society, Indian system, but he erred on the wrong side. He bought an idea which had its genesis in the two-nation theory. It is giving a separate article to a state, to a Muslim majority state on the basis of religion, because Muslims were in majority in Jammu and Kashmir. That's why special status. This was as good as buying an idea of a two-nation theory. And that's why I said it was as good as placing a tinderbox, placing an epicenter of a big tremor, which could have its ramifications all around. And you see,
Swati Malik,
this is
Swati Malik, what Mr. Pathania is saying is something that came up in court as well.
That's it. And
Tushar Mehta said this is a historical blunder, a Himalayan blunder that has finally been righted. And the blame, again, once this evening, though I didn't ask him this question, has come the Congress party for doing what they did many, many years ago. It was a bad idea to begin with, wasn't it, Swati? In hindsight, maybe that is something everyone in this country can accept and move on.
Well, Shreya, at that time, that is what the leaders of the country thought to be correct, thought to be the right thing for the country in those circumstances. So we cannot go back and question what happened back then, because those circumstances were very pressing. The kind of partition that we had seen, the kind of, the kind of rebellion we were seeing. So that is what the leaders of the country thought the best to be, and they took that decision. But here again, coming back to the Supreme Court's judgment today, it's very interesting, Shreya. On one hand, Supreme Court has not even touched the dismemberment of Kashmir issue, whether it was valid or invalid. 370 abrogation is different from dismemberment of Kashmir as a state. And that has been touched by the Supreme Court. It is validity. The Supreme Court says, let that be decided in another petition, not in this. So, these little things. And for example, the Supreme Court again saying the general election to be held before September 2024. That's 10 months away. We need to have, and those people have not voted in last years from August 2019 till now. They've not seen, they don't even have a government. So this is what, again, see, Congress takes the blame for everything. I think we should also be blamed for the kind of development that the country has also seen, right? Because everything comes back to us, and that's all right. We welcome that because we have been leading the country for all these years. So that's all right. But we cannot stop questioning the center. We cannot stop criticizing, for that matter. We all have an opinion, even if we bow down to the order of the Supreme Court, but we do have an opinion which we want to voice here. So yes, while we accept the judgment, but there are contradictions which we want to point out, and that is our, as a major role as opposition, to point out the flaws. 370 being abrogated without a debate, without a discussion in the parliament, leaders of the state being locked up, what all happened. So in those circumstances, it is only valid for us to keep raising this question again and again.
And Mr. Pathania, that's the entire point, that what happened via the back door. Even today, for example, although the Lieutenant Governor denied it, the fact is that the Valley's netas were once again locked up.
Absolutely not, madam. I just need 2 minutes uninterrupted. The Congress and the Valley-based parties, they are still confused. They are still not coherent. Nehru bought the idea of special status. And you see, 1953, Sheikh Sarkar was dismissed. Sheikh Abdullah was put behind the bars. And ultimately, 1954 order. Almost a majority and few of Indian laws, they were made applicable to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Then ultimately, you see what happened in 1960, 75. Sheikh Abdullah had no MLA. Congress with an outside support. And Sheikh Abdullah was chief minister, and their other ministers also, cabinet ministers also sat there. And ultimately, once again, a hell of contradictions and crudities. It happened. You see, then after Big Partharasti Accord, then 1987, once again, Congress and NC Accord, then autonomy, then self-rule, and you still are undecided which way to go. Sir, your Article 370 has virtually ruined Jammu and Kashmir. Why don't you buy the idea? Why don't you accept it? This is your inability. You see, the speech of Jawaharlal Nehru on 12th of December 1963. Madam, please take note, on the floor of the Parliament. He said that Article 370 is as good as a shell. If it is a shell, why did you bring it in there? Then I said 1954 order, then 1975 Big Partharasti Accord, then once again 1987 Congress and Accord. Was still confused where to go and what to do. You see, Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat, this was a big threat. This special status was a big threat to the South Asian peace of Jammu and Kashmir, and everybody knows how Jammu and Kashmir has delivered in the past 3 or 4 years, how people have come to feel secure in the past 3 or 4 years. But the problem with Congress, that it is, with due respect, it's not able to understand what it has done to
Kashmir. Can I just put that question to someone who's based out of the valley? Mr. Pathania, let me put that question.
Yes,
let me put that question to Mr. Handa, who I think is finally joined us. Mr. Handa, you know what Mr. R.S. Pathania from the BJP is telling us, that look at how things have changed in Jammu and Kashmir in the last 4 years. Today the Supreme Court has said what the Supreme Court has said. It has said what has happened 4 years ago was perfectly legal. So no one can question that anymore. But the point that the BJP is also making, Handa ji, is कि आप देखिए लोगों की जिंदगी कितनी सवर गई है जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में. प्रॉब्लम क्या है? वैली बेस्ड पार्टीज को प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि आर्टिकल 370 को हटा दिया गया है?
श्रेया जी, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले का हम सम्मान करते हैं, उसके ऊपर कोई प्रश्न चिन्ह नहीं है. प्रश्न इस बात का है कि जिस सेलिब्रेशन को 5 अगस्त 2019 को मनाया गया, वो आज सेलिब्रेशन पूरे जम्मू कश्मीर में क्यों नहीं दिख रही है? क्योंकि जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों को ये समझ आ गया कि जो धोखा भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने 5 अगस्त 2019 में जम्मू कश्मीर के साथ किया था, वह जो है वो आने वाला भविष्य जो है उनका अंधकार में है. बात करते हैं, इन्होंने विकास कर दिया. विकास का पैमाना क्या है, पैरामीटर क्या है? विकास का पैरामीटर होता है उसकी जीडीपी. आज जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों की जीडीपी क्या है? 1,24,000, जो कि पूरे देश की जीडीपी की 172,000 जो है पर ईयर की है. तो बेरोजगारी जो है वो चरम पर है. आतंकवाद जो है वो पिछले 34 सालों से आप डाटा उठाएंगे, जैसे जनरल साहब कह रहे थे कि ढिल्लन साहब की यहाँ पे आतंकवाद खत्म हो गया. आतंकवाद खत्म नहीं हो गया. जितनी हमारे पुलिस अधिकारी और सुरक्षा बलों ने अधिकारियों ने शहादत दी है, इतने पिछले 34 साल में शहादत नहीं हुई है जितनी 1 साल में हो गई है. तो ये कहा जा रहा था कि यहाँ पर विकास आ जाएगा, यहाँ पर डेवलपमेंट हो जाएगी. आज 12-12 से 14-14 घंटे पावर कट है. कोई नई इंडस्ट्री जो है जम्मू कश्मीर में नहीं लगाई गई है। हमारे लोगों का जो रोजगार था वो छीन लिया गया है। बाहरी हर इंस्टीट्यूशन में जम्मू कश्मीर में जो है वो बाहर से लोग जो हैं वो यहाँ पे बिठा दिए गए हैं। जहाँ का वाटर बॉडी पे पूरा अधिकार बाहरी लोगों का हो गया है। तो आखिर जम्मू कश्मीर का युवा कहाँ जाएगा? पढ़ने लिखने के बावजूद उनको नौकरी नहीं है। ये पूछ रहे हैं लोग कि आखिर ऐसा जो
मिस्टर हांडा, अपने ही देश में कोई बाहरी लोग कैसे हो सकते हैं?
देखिए मैं बताता हूँ।
नहीं मिस्टर हांडा, एक प्रॉब्लम है आपके लॉजिक के साथ। अपने ही देश में कोई किसी स्टेट में बाहरी कैसे हो सकता है? पूरा मुद्दा तो वही था और आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बड़ा क्लियर कर दिया देखो। They've said that what happened on August 5th 4 years ago was absolutely valid and legal.
जिस तरीके से बाहरी स्टेटों में 12 ऐसी स्टेट है जिसमें 371 में जो है वो जॉब राइट्स है और लैंड राइट्स है। उस तरह से जम्मू कश्मीर का नागरिक ये चाहता है कि यहाँ पे लैंड राइट्स हो, यहाँ पे जॉब राइट्स हो। इस धारा 370 की वजह से जो है वो प्रोटेक्शन थी जो कि हटा ली गई है और इसमें ऐसा कुछ नहीं बचा था। सिर्फ भारतीय जनता पार्टी
बड़ी बात ये है
वो बचा था, उसके अलावा 370 में ऐसा कुछ नहीं था जिससे
ठीक है। So you are saying that this was not a unity project. This was essentially the BJP's party politics. We'll leave it there, Mr. Handa. The good thing is that Jammu and Kashmir has to have elections before 30th of September 2024 and statehood has to be restored to Jammu and Kashmir. That is something that the Supreme Court has said. We'll leave it there for the moment, Mr. Patania. Thank you very much. Swati, good to have you on the show, and Ashwini Handa, thank you very much as well. On that note, I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. News and updates continue. Do stay with us.